Hello, Patricia. Good to see you this morning. Glad you're here. Good morning, guys. Let's get those videos on so it's not as lonely. I'm gonna keep letting people in as we do that. Tracy, what's up? Looks like you're at a standing desk too. Definitely helps with the back. Not killing the back, not killing the shoulders. Gosh, even with a good chair, man, it was, yeah, it was like it's even if you try to have good posture, you still have to like reach forward and you can only sit so close. But then if you sit too close, that's not good for you either. Yeah. Good morning, guys. Let me do the icebreaker question. So, how many real estate hours did you actually work last week? Not tried to work, but actually got work done. And let me give you an example of what that might mean. So, you might have a full-time real estate job, meaning real estate is your full-time job, but then you needed to go grocery shopping in your 8-hour day. Let's just say it's 8 hours and then you need to take care of kids, and then you got distracted on social media, right? So most of us, um, it's 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes in a day that are actually not um, used to work on real estate, even though they should be. So this is relevant to what we're getting into today. I'm guilty of this too. The vast majority of human beings are guilty of this, just things getting in the way and us not realizing it. So with that kind of context, put in the chat, how many real estate hours did you actually work last week? And there is no magic number, right? This is all about productivity. It's definitely not about quantity of hours. Tricia says 20 hours, maybe. I like it. I like it. You can do a lot in 20 hours. If you can get focus time, you can do a lot with that for sure. Christiana, Tracy, Donna, Larry, drop in the chat how many hours you were able to work on real estate last week. Jay, Deepa, K Mary, Tracy says no distractions 20 plus. There we go. There we go. You got 40 solid hours in? Okay. All right. Let's go. Christiana says 25. Deepa says 10. Got some more coming in too that I'm letting in. Jay, what about you and Leander? Trying to keep up with everybody. Jay says 10. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Kimberly, how about you? Good to see you, by the way. Thanks for turning the video on. I love it, guys. And follow-up question for you guys though is would you like it to be more hours? Meaning, um, would you like it's gonna sound a little redundant, right? And obvious, but would you like the hours that you work to have a greater impact? Would you like to be able to take care of the personal stuff and not have it drastically reduce the business and the business stuff not drastically hurt the personal stuff? A lot of people they ask me how I get so much done, and that's kind of where this came from because I have a tech startup. I have a big fantasy novel coming out this year. We have the number one units and number one volume team at Epic. Chris and I do in Tennessee. I'm active in my church, and we also go to church. I'm a very present husband and father. I still exercise. Like I do all of these different things, and people think that I must just work 20 out of 24 hours a day. Um, but I don't. And my kind of method is what I'm going to share with you today on kind of how I handle all of the distractions that show up in life that typically derail productivity. I've never been good at labeling this class because every time I label it one thing, I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of like this thing over here. So let's get started. Um, and hopefully this will make sense along the way. So I'm going to be really engaging with me this morning. Um, to make sure that this is making sense to you. I haven't taught this one as much, but this is absolutely, if you will, a secret to success. Um, it's how in my first year in real estate with no friends or family, I sold 34 homes. And then the second year, I was number one. And then the third year, I had a number one team. And it just kept going from there. It's not because I'm special. It's not because I'm super smart or anything like that. I'm not, trust me. But I have a way of dealing with distractions and problems. And this is kind of where we're going to get into it. So, this is for all the agents that know what they need to do, but something always seems to get in the way of getting it done. Anybody relate to that? Like, I know what I need to do, but listen, this thing happened, and this thing happened, and this thing happened. And oftentimes, they're things you can't just ignore. You can't just be like, yeah, kids, bye. Like, right? Hey, responsibility. No, like, how do we handle these things? And I haven't seen a lot of coaching around this. I've seen time blocking. Everybody's seen time blocking, right? Everybody's seen the time blocking thing. Just put it on the calendar. Listen, if it was that easy, everybody would just be the time blocking experts, right? So clearly there's a deeper level that we have to get into. This is for agents that are always busy. But the big things, the big milestones, they're just not hitting for some reason. How can I be so busy and still not be hitting the numbers that I feel I should be with the time invested? Right. And then, of course, this is for agents, but also just all humans who have persistent distractions they can't seem to beat by sheer willpower. Okay. I can relate to that. All right. But real quick, there's four commitments for being on the call. Number one is video on. This is a community, not a bunch of blank screens. Plus, I do this for free for you guys. For those of you who know and come to me, I never sell you on anything. I don't have any courses, coaching. I don't sell those anymore. I just bless you because I've been blessed. And so this is a way to kind of give back to me. It's just getting to see you. And thank you, by the way. Leander, good to see you. Cynthia, Felicia, good to see you guys. It means the world just to get to see your faces. Christiana, look at you. You're here too. What's up? Number two, distractions off. You are way too smart to show up to a call just to be distracted during it. Okay? So whatever you got to do real quick, turn the phone on to vibrate only because if you're like me, family's a priority. You never actually turn the phone off just in case, right? But do whatever you need to do real quick to get those distractions out of your way so you can actually take something home today. Number three is participation. You will learn more, get more out of this if you're just actively involved. That means answering questions, asking questions, right? That means scratching the back of your head if it doesn't make sense and then raising your hand because that's going to happen. Okay. And then for me, this is the most important one of all. Go bless someone else today. I don't care who. Just go bless someone else today. And I'm going to give you bonus points that are worth nothing, but I'm going to give you a ton of bonus points if you do it for someone who's a pain in the butt, someone that's difficult. Go bless someone else today. All right. So, with that being said, here's one of the scenarios that I kind of thought of. I'm sure each of you have your own scenarios. Yeah, desk, it's Monday. You're ready to grind. You're ready to get to work. The phone buzzes. You check it, of course, right? Check it. You got to check the phone. Then 20 minutes later, you're on Instagram, right? You snap out of it. You're like, crap, I got to be working. I can't be doing this. I can't be distracted. So you jump into your CRM. But then you remembered that you had to call your lender back about something. So then you go call them. And then while you're calling them, an email comes in from a client, or you remember you needed to write an offer. Okay, well, let me do that too. Okay. Then you're hungry. Then your kid needs something. Then you have an appointment. Then you have to pick them up from school. Whatever it is, there is always something. Can we agree to that? Just like drop an X in the chat if you relate to this at all. Even though I'm the one speaking, I'm still going to drop an X in the chat. Okay, all right. So we can see that this is a good call to be on today if we can address these problems, right? Now, I promise you, if you guys have not been in this class before, this particular one that I'm teaching right now, you've probably never heard this information or my strategy on how I deal with these things and do all of the things that I do. Okay. So I promise you, this is probably going to be very unique and it's going to feel very foreign to you, but it works. And everybody who practices this achieves incredible strides in their business. Okay. So, as always, guys, say it with me out loud, even though I can't hear you. Things need to change. And the good news is they will. And it's just going to come from solving distractions. Okay? Because after every interruption that comes into your business, it takes on average 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully refocus on the original task. Let that sink in for a minute. 23 minutes just to get back into the task that you needed to be finished with 23 minutes ago. Okay. Agents lose on average 2.1 hours per day to distractions and task switching. That's over 10 hours every week at minimum. And I actually think that these are a little bit higher for real estate agents. These are some of the industry averages, and it includes some people who have a boss. Bosses tend to not let people be as distracted, right? So I actually think this number is pretty high for agents. There's just no actual data. So this is the best I can get for you. And so the number three is 79% of US workers, and so that includes us, they get distracted within an hour of starting work. Within an hour. It fades quick, right? It does. But here's the beautiful part. This isn't about learning to focus better. We've all heard that before. We've all heard just time block and focus, right? I mean, at least that's what I was always told. It was just like, the Nike commercial, right? Just do it, right? And you're like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And then it doesn't work. And you're like, okay, well, now what? Right? So this is about finding real ways to stop distractions before they even happen, right? And what's funny is that this idea came to me. I'm very open. I'm a Christian, right? This idea came to me because Paul said, if something causes you to sin, cut off your hand. What he's really saying is it's like, if you can't do it, then you got to find a new solution. And so I apply this to my business because too many things were distracting me. And so I said, the time blocking's not working, guys. The thing that all the gurus told me, just put it on your calendar. It'll be great. It wasn't working. My willpower wasn't enough. So the only other option I could think of was, well, what if I solve the distraction then? Right? What if I help prevent distractions? Maybe that'll help me. And it did. And this is kind of where all of this came from. So we're going to get right into it. This is interactive. We're actually going to do an exercise here. So make sure you're listening and ready. So step one is we're going to write it out. I want you to write down 5 distractions, good or bad, by the way. Distractions is not actually an evil word. Right? If you need to change your kid's diaper, that is a distraction, but it's a good distraction. You got to take care of your kid. Right? So I want you guys to write down 5 good or bad distractions that got in the way of you working on real estate in the last week. Okay? Can you guys do that for me? Five distractions. And if you want to put them in the chat, you can. You can do single one word. If you get specific, it's helpful. And I'm going to give you some examples, okay? So my kids were sick Monday through Wednesday last week, so I needed to take care of them. Distraction, and that would be considered a good distraction in my opinion. My kids are sick. I need to take care of them. I don't think anybody would think that's a bad thing. I don't, right? For many of you, it's I had my normal day job of working Monday through Friday, right? That's a lot of you, especially those of you who are working 10 hours a week, right? It probably means you have a day job. That's not a bad distraction. You got bills to pay, right? I had to go to a doctor appointment. And then some of the negative distractions might be I constantly find myself scrolling on social media, listening to podcasts that I never put into action, keep listening and learning, but not doing. Guilty, guilty, definitely guilty of that one. I ended up in non agent alliance trainings that don't help me, right? And there's lots of other distractions, right? Lots of other distractions. Okay, cool. This is amazing. Good job, guys. Ruth, British murder mystery shows. I love the honesty, man. I love the honesty. All right, let's keep going. So now we're going to do something that's very obvious. What's the obvious solutions for solving these distractions? Remember, we're not here to just time block and pretend they don't exist. We're here to try and solve these distractions you wrote down, right? And so the obvious ones, I'm going to use mine as an example, right? A couple of mine. I'm going to pick my distraction where I said my kids were sick Monday through Wednesday last week. So I needed to take care of them. Okay. Now, how do we solve that? Well, the obvious ones, don't worry, we're going to get deeper, is the kids not being sick. That would be helpful, right? Okay. There's one. How about the kids' sickness not affecting your work schedule, right? Kids get sick, but it doesn't affect your work schedule. Or number three, not having to take care of kids when they are sick. Okay, those are the obvious distractions. We can all say it together. Duh. Duh. Obviously, these things. But we have to start there because now we're going to get deeper, and this is going to make a lot of sense, hopefully, in just a minute. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Now that we have those surface solutions, okay, and we're going to actually go to a fourth layer in just a second. So, for the obvious solutions, we have the eat better, exercise more, increase immunity related food and supplements, better hygiene, right? The vast majority of kids' sickness outside of their own health is just the fact that they have terrible hygiene. They definitely put things where they don't belong, right? So those are the kind of obvious solutions for the kids not being sick. You guys follow me so far? I'm trying to move fast so we can get to the deeper stuff because this is where you're going to really have to spend some time. Okay. So then how about kids not affecting your work schedule? The obvious solution would be maybe the kids themselves are distracted by something. Maybe they're sleeping, or maybe they're otherwise taking care of themselves, right? Even in short bursts. Okay. And then not having to take care of kids when they're sick. That could be spouse or family member who takes care of the kids. It could be that the kids are old enough to take care of themselves. It just depends on the situation. So again, we have these kind of surface obvious solutions for the kids being sick. Now, this is not groundbreaking stuff here. Can we all agree? Not groundbreaking stuff. I think this is pretty obvious, right? So now let's get into the deep solutions. And this process that I'm going to show you, this is what you should apply. I'm just going to say it. Normally I try to ask it, but no, this is what you should apply to every problem and every distraction you ever face in any aspect of your life. Okay? We're going to get into it more. Okay. So now that we got the obvious solutions out of the way, right? Eat better, exercise more, increase immunity related. Now we need to know, what does that actually look like though? What does it look like? Okay. So let's take one. So kids not being sick, right? Eat better. Okay. Now we're going to go into here. Monday, have a power smoothie with fruits and veggies, aka plan healthier meals. Exercise more. Monday, go to the park with the kids at 5 p.m. Bear with me. All this is going to make sense. And maybe for some of you are already connecting dots. Increase immunity related foods and supplements. Maybe use elderberry tincture in their water. Okay. Kids' sickness not affecting your work schedule. And then we talked about distracting themselves, sleeping, or otherwise taking care of themselves. Okay. Teaching the kids, having a list of specific activities they can do during your focus times that will distract them. Teaching them boundaries. Okay. Not having to take care of kids when they are sick. Obviously, we talked about a spouse or family member helps to take care of the kids. So, having a list of who can help you in these times of need. Maybe the kids are old enough to take care of themselves, creating boundaries and empowering them with what they need to do that you know they're capable of. Okay. You guys follow me along so far? And again, this is going to sound really obvious, but the vast majority of people do not do what I'm showing you right now. They react to life, and that derails everything. Okay. So I breezed through that because I wanted to have more time to kind of go over with you. So now, um, I want you guys to spend this time. I'm gonna work on it together. Okay. I want each of you to take one of the distractions, good or bad, that took away from your real estate efforts in the last week. Pick one of the five and drop it in the chat. And we're going to start solving these together. All right. You follow me? So drop them in the chat. We're going to start solving these together. This will change your life in so many ways because you will no longer be reactive. And I know this probably seems really obvious, doesn't it? You're probably like, yeah, duh, this is all so obvious. It's so obvious. But the thing is that most of us still just react. We don't actually try to solve our distractions or solve our problems. We just react to them. I'm constantly ahead of it. And therefore, I have less distractions in the future. I have less problems in the future because I don't react. That's not where I spend the majority of my time. I spend the majority of my time prepping for excellence, preparing to succeed versus reacting and hoping I can make it work out. Okay. All right. So I'm seeing some good things. Patricia says community events. Kimberly says multitasking fragments efforts. Absolutely. Anybody who ever taught multitasking and every job, whoever thought that multitasking was a good idea, it was all a lie. And there is not a single ounce of evidence in, I don't even know how it came up with it because there is no evidence anywhere that multitasking is a positive thing. And we all think we multitask, but we actually don't. We don't multitask. And when we try to, we're not actually multitasking. We're just failing at multiple things at the same time. People are not built for that. Larry in training, Ruth. Oh, I love it, Ruth. Sounds like you're already working on that. All right, so Cynthia, what you got too? I know you got some good ones. I saw you writing down. Oh, there it is. You said Facebook Reels, car maintenance, grandson. Cynthia, let me use one of yours real quick because you're such a faithful one too, and I love working with you. So you said Facebook Reels. So a lot of us can we relate to doom scrolling, distractions. It doesn't matter, by the way, if you're taking in good content. You could be watching wholesome memes. You could be watching podcasts about productivity. If it's not the work you need to do right then in the moment, it's a distraction. It's not good for you. Okay. So Facebook Reels doesn't mean dumb content. It doesn't mean silly things. It can be very good things at the wrong time. Okay? Just want to put that out there. All right, so how do we solve this problem? Right? So Cynthia, I'm going to unmute you if you don't mind. You good with that? Okay, cool. So Cynthia, first explain just a tiny bit more. What's the problem with Facebook Reels?
I can maybe go out there for a good reason. I'm going to go and say something to a past client or a realtor, and then all of a sudden something else catches my eye, and 20 minutes later, an hour and a half later, I'm looking at crap that doesn't matter, right? And it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm still here, right? And
Yeah.
it's such a time waster. And I have tried undoing Facebook from my phone, and I need to maybe do that again. And then of course it was about a week later, and I'm going out through the internet, right? To go back into Facebook to at least do my likes and things like that, and it sucks me right back in. It is a disaster for me, and maybe I just don't go talk to people on the internet. But it's where I learn about my family, different things that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
My grandchildren are in sporting events and they won or they, whatever happened. And it's not that I don't learn about those things through phone calls, but life's so busy for everyone. It's a quick learn, comment, say, hey, good job, and off I go again, right?
So
So
can
I
anyone relate to what Cynthia's saying? She goes to social media for a good reason. She's not here to time waste. She knows she has work to do. She goes for a good reason. Some of her business might be on social media. Obviously, family and friends that we love and care about, and we don't get to always see them all the time. We want to know how they're doing. These aren't bad things, guys, right? I would like to think that since a lot of you are entrepreneurs, you have a mindset to be productive with your life, right? That's an entrepreneurial mindset. So then what do we do? How do we manage this? How do we solve this problem? Okay. So, Cynthia, I'm going to unmute you again. I want you to just share real quick what's your initial thoughts on how maybe you can try and solve this problem?
so I tried to undo Facebook from my phone, but I found myself going back out there wanting to do these business things. I think I really have to say, listen, you can do this from such and such time to such and such time and really try to restrict myself, right? Go on. But I can't do it first thing in the morning because I can be on there for 2 or 3 hours. I probably need to do it last thing at night, when I'm maybe sitting and watching TV or while I'm doing exercise at night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And then, but I have to be careful, right? Because I don't need my brain going like this when
Mm-hmm.
it's go to bed, right? So I think probably doing it at not just not going on before 8 at night or whatever time frame I choose and trying to limit myself there. And I think
Perfect.
having
I
a
love it.
practice of what I expect to do while I'm out there, do this, do this, do this, do this, so I check them off, right? Might keep me a little bit more focused.
Perfect. All right. So, guys, this is all great. And everything Cynthia said is phenomenal. I'm going to take it a step further, okay? And the reason why I'm going to take it a step further, and this is said with love to you, Cynthia, and to me, because this is what I need too, right? Is if it was just a matter of telling yourself to do it, you would do it. If it's just a matter of saying, well, I'll just do it only at 5, well, that's no different than saying, hey, just be productive when you're on it. It's the same concept. Willpower was not enough. And the truth is that for some areas of our life, willpower won't ever be enough. Or at least for a season, we won't have the willpower. Each and every one of you has struggles that you're just not capable of accomplishing on your own, overcoming on your own. Can we admit that? Anybody willing to admit that with me? I can admit that. I have struggles I cannot overcome alone. So, the struggles you can go crush. Have a strategy, have a plan. You can use the same thing. But let's talk about the ones you can't. So, Cynthia, I'm just going to play with this a little bit and say maybe Facebook isn't something right now that you can't overcome entirely on your own. Not to say you can't improve. So, what I had to do, guilty, right, is I had to go and do everything you just said, Cynthia, but I took it a step further and I had a blocker on my phone that my wife would have the password for. And I could only do Facebook work within that designated time frame. And either I got it done or I didn't. Now you might say, well, Robert, but I still didn't wasn't as productive on Facebook as I needed to be. Yes, but you were 10 times more productive everywhere else. And here's the thing, when we actually have a real deadline, there's an unbelievable amount of studies that prove this. We almost all are more productive. And we are less productive when there is no deadline. The deadline might mean that you have 1 hour to get things done on Facebook, right? This is a great thing with your children, by the way. Children respond typically very well. Not all children, don't worry, I know. But children tend to respond better because we know they will take all the time in the world to do the most menial tasks. Clean up your room. They might have two things on the floor even, and they will take half an hour to do it. But when I give my son a timer, a visual timer, and it's 2 minutes, he waits till about 30 seconds and then he goes, oh gosh, I got to do this. Or he knows there's a consequence, right? Now, I'm a parent. I can produce a consequence. But for many of you, the consequence is you kind of can scapegoat it. So the consequence will be that you can't use Facebook anymore because the blocker will come up. So use the blocker. It's okay, guys, that you're not perfect. It's okay that something is beyond your power and you need help. Isn't that why you're here on the call today? Hey, I want to get better at something and I haven't quite figured out how to do it myself. I might need a little extra help. So that's what you're going to do is you're going to get this blocker, you're going to get the designated time and you're going to give the key to someone else. And it's going to suck. It's going to be a hard transition and you're going to feel crummy at first. There may even be, believe it or not, guys, don't be surprised if when you have consistent habits that get in the way that you have withdrawals. Withdrawals, it's a real thing where you're like, oh, I don't have the thing I need anymore. I need this, right? So, do you guys understand now how we actually just created a real solution to Cynthia's problem and it wasn't just the cliche, just do it? You guys see that? It's not profound, but it's certainly not talked about. Now, imagine you applied what I just taught you to do. Every time you have a distraction or problem in your business, you write down what it is, okay? And then you write down every possible surface solution, right? And then you write down the deep solutions. What does this actually mean in practice? And what do I do to get it going? And your life will change. I needed more exercise. I work so much at my computer. The solution for me was not to leave my house. For me, specifically for me, because that is a lot of time wasted. So I would have got more exercise, but I would have lost more work time. So what I did is I bought a standing desk and I bought a treadmill that goes under my standing desk. And now when I'm on meetings or calls, typically, usually I'm done by the time I do this call, I jump on a treadmill and I walk while I'm on the meeting because I'm distracted. I do not like exercising. People think I do because I'm very consistent and very intentional about it. I do not like exercising at all. That is not my thing. I do not enjoy it. There's no thrill. There's no thank you. Okay? But now I'm distracted by talking to someone on the call and next thing you know I got 30, 45 minutes of cardio in. And I'm healthier and I'm stronger and I also didn't hurt my other needed things that got need to get done. Right? Love that, Tracy, by the way. Love that. All right. So now, what does that look like for you guys? What's these problems? I want you to pick one distraction this week that feels impossible, that's taking the most out of your business. And remember, distractions aren't always bad. It can be your kids. Kids are great. I'm glad you have kids. You need to prioritize your kids properly, right? I love it. But you also have work to do, and they have work to do, and you need to be productive, right? So let's look at those distractions, pick them up, run it through the steps, right? And then actually implement it. So who has another distraction that maybe they're looking at and they don't see a solution? Anybody have anything that they could use some help with? Anything to where you're like, I know I have this problem. I just don't know how to go about it. I don't know how to fix this. Right? I do this so often, and I do this for high performers, just to be clear. I know for a lot of you, you might be listening to this and go, why was I here for this today? People pay me $300-$400 sometimes an hour to help them solve these problems for them and walk them through it. And those people are on average making about $400,000 to $500,000 a year in real estate, specifically. As a real estate agent too, I don't teach the investing stuff and anything like that. I stick to what I know best, right? Is this. Patricia says, I work at home and see things that need to be done when I get up for a drink or restroom. Ooh, so good distractions. I got stuff to do in my home. And how do I avoid this? How do I solve this problem? That's a very real one. Anyone relate to that one? Patricia's problem of just seeing things around the house, seeing good distractions, reasonable things. So how do we solve that? And would want to drop in the chat and would want to take a guess now that we kind of ran through the process? How do we solve Patricia's problem? What do we do? How do we help her? I want to get you guys engaged. Anybody wants to take a crack at it, let me know too, or you can drop it in the chat. Think of ideas together. Trust me, this is a good exercise for yourself too. Okay. I see people typing. I love it. I love it. Put blinders on. You know what? It's silly, but that's actually a legitimate thing, just to be clear. All right. It's actually not a bad idea. Sometimes, listen, when I go to church and I try to be present during worship, but I grew up in a very, very poor neighborhood. Our house was burned down. I have had a gun pulled out on me, people broken into our house. I grew up very, very poor. So my brain is always watching people for threats. So when I'm at church, it's very hard for me to worship. So I literally have to close my eyes to worship, or else I'm just always watching people. Right. So sometimes, yeah, closing the eyes is a legitimate thing. Sometimes you need to close your eyes. Okay. I like it. Cynthia says set a timer and then you have to come back and shut it off. So I'm back at the desk. Ooh, Cynthia, that's clever. Because you're not just going to leave the timer going off. That would drive you crazy. So you come back to turn off the timer and then you're back at your desk. You know, it's almost like a bungee cord or like a boomerang, right? Like you throw it out there, but it's coming back. It's coming back. I really like that. So Patricia, you got two good ideas right there. One from you, your blinders. Setting a timer to where you have to come back to your desk. That could be very powerful. Okay. Tracy says, look at the floor. Yep. Look at the floor if you have to. Not even kidding. Look at the floor if you have to. Seriously. Tell Siri to remind you to do it in an appropriate time. Kimberly, that's a big one. Most of the time, the reason why we feel we need to do something in the moment is because we're afraid it won't get done, right? We're afraid it won't get done. I struggle with that all the time. Sometimes just keeping a list of things you need to do is the solution too. If the floors need to be swept, Patricia says, well, if I'm looking down at the floor, what if the floor needs to be swept? You're going to put it on a list of something you're going to do later. Now, maybe you have a very compulsive nature like I am, right? I used to not be able to sit down and have dinner until everything was clean. That was just me. My wife thought it was crazy. She's like, no, like eat the food while it's hot. I'd rather eat cold food and have the dishes done and everything done than eat hot food and then know there's a big burden waiting for me after. I don't like to relax knowing that on the other side of my relaxation is a ton of work. So I like to get the work done so that I can just relax and not feel like there's something looming over me, right? So you can write that list, set the timer to bring you back to your desk, okay? You can also schedule designated times to do these tasks so that your brain knows it's okay. Patricia, you're right. It's on the list, and there is a time coming today where you'll get to go do these things, right? And that actually helps relieve your brain because then your brain goes, okay, I don't have to panic, right? I don't have to panic. I have a list of what needs to get done, and I have a designated time of when it will get done. And then the timer just helps you to come right back to the desk. Phenomenal. Patricia, what do you think? You can put those into action? Try them out? Yeah? Let us know. I really care. I want to know how they go, right? I love that. All right, who else has got some things? Or actually real quick, did any of you find this useful? Obviously you won't know if you like it and it works for you until you go put it into practice. I have yet to see anybody fail at this. I've yet to see anybody not be more productive following this process. It's just very hard for us because it takes intentionality. We have to sit down, we have to actually solve our problems. And believe it or not, most of us don't believe that we can. Most of us live in a state of reactive, right? Reacting to things. And that makes us feel powerless. That makes us feel helpless, hopeless. Um, and so this is a very anti-nature of human beings. We like to be reactive. We do. Prep work is a lot of work. right? Meal prepping is statistically proven to save you an unbelievable amount of time. How many people meal prep though? I think we can all agree meal prep probably works. So we even know it probably works and we still don't do it. That's the part I can't help you through. I cannot help you with self discipline. I can't do that. I can encourage you, I can put you in environments with self disciplined people, but you will not see the fruit of this uh, class unless you go and actually sit down, write down the problem, write down the solutions, and do them, put them into action. The good news is that this isn't the whimsical, right, willpower thing, right? These are actually real solutions that solve real problems. They're not just kind of floating around you and just somehow it's all going to work out. Right. And Patricia, the way that you will get out of that reactive mindset is doing the things that we just talked about. Because that will rewire your brain. That will rewire your brain to look to the list as a source, not your emotions, to look to the scheduled designated time, you know, and that's hard. That's really hard transition to be able to just trust the process. But that will make you one of the most incredible agents out there. You will be more productive than all the people who don't. You will operate with a level of wisdom, discernment, and peace that other people will look at you and go, how'd you do it? How do you do it? Or even worse, this is them deflecting and it's not an insult to them. They go, oh, well, I'm just not you. I'm not like you. Listen, first of all, thanks for the compliment that you think I'm so special, but I'm not. Every single one of you can achieve the level of success I have and far beyond me. Every single one of you. Real estate does not require anybody to be smart. Real estate does not require anybody to be incredibly athletic. Real estate welcomes all personality types, all religious and racial and ethnic backgrounds. All of them can thrive and succeed. It's good news. All right. Anybody else have questions? Does this make sense to you? Like, give me a little bit more because I want to make sure that this resonates with you and it's not something you just heard, right? While you were writing a contract or heard while you were answering a text message, but something that really connects with you. Tracy, sure. Let me unmute you because you have your video on. And there we go. What's up, Tracy?
Hear me okay? Good?
I hear you.
Oh, good. So, I have a little bit of a challenge. I have a foreign wife, and right now it is almost 10 o'clock for her. And so, because of that time frame, the schedule is a little off. So, instead of me trying to change her, I changed my schedule to meet hers, and then I'm able to turn around and focus on the things that I need to do as opposed to what she needs to do.
Yeah.
Uh, it also gives me time to spend with her because that's our only connection right now. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, your priorities are right, in my opinion. I can't judge all aspects of your life, so I'm obviously just taking at the surface. Um, I was just teaching in another call, really big top producer. He closes about 50 deals a year. He also has networking, investment, all of that. Very successful. Uh, and he was like, "Well, I kept telling her, I'm only going to work for now a lot, but don't worry, in the future it'll pay off." Um, I would never ever want someone to be in a marriage where at some point it'll get good. At some point they'll be a priority, right? So I'm encouraging you, Tracy. Yes, like in many ways, this is a very positive thing because it's going to force you on how to be creative and constructive and productive while maintaining the priority. And she is the priority. That's your wife. Absolutely the priority, right? When my wife got sick 3, 4 years ago, everything changed for me. Now, did I go and divorce her and say, oh, well, she's too much of a problem now and my life just doesn't work in harmony with hers? For those of you who know me, absolutely not. I would never do that to her. No way. The exact opposite happened. I said, okay, how do we make this work? What needs to change? And a lot had to change. but I became way more productive. I didn't actually become less productive. I became more productive with the time that I had. It forced me to do a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you today. It was out of necessity. And so, Tracy, you have a necessity. I can't just neglect my wife. No way. So, how do I be productive and adjust my life to make that work? Boom. Great, wonderful things will come from that. And what's even cooler, Tracy, is that probably affects how you do lead gen and follow up and things like that. But what's so awesome about that is you're going to find your people through this process. You're going to find people who operate on your schedule too. And they're going to resonate with you versus someone who would be a counter to the way your schedule works. So something beautiful is coming out of something that feels difficult in the moment. How do I make these two important things work? That's the beauty of it, right? I love it. Thanks for sharing, Tracy. Appreciate it. Anybody else got anything they need help with, or comments they want to share, or questions, or feels like this is too simple, it's not going to work? I'm not above reproach, so please share. And I've got time to help anybody solve some of these problems. I'm happy to work with you. This time that I give to you on Wednesdays, it's yours. It's yours to bless you and serve you and do what I can. So, who else has got some problems they need some help with, or anything they want to get solved? I went way faster than I thought I was going to go, by the way. I thought I had more slides than I did, so that's part of it. Cynthia, this is so good. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. Shaheda, is that right? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Yes, there will be a replay. We send it out on Fridays in the newsletter. We'll make sure to drop that for you. And distracted by a phone call, very real. I get it. I get it. Patricia, yes. I share the slides. I share the replays. There's no paywall. There's no funnel like where you get sold. There's no upsells, nothing. Okay. I don't even advertise my coaching anymore. I only keep it for very select individuals now. And that's a time thing, eliminating things out of my schedule that just don't resonate with the mission, the goal. Right. So I got you. Kimberly says, I'm going to be using do not disturb on the phone. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of times we're just not, we just need that extra help. We just need a little extra help to get us to where we need to be. It's a very real thing. Uh, Misa, go ahead and drop the newsletter so I don't forget. Um, let's do that. And for me, just so you guys know, and maybe you guys are like this too, um, there is rarely an emergency outside of your own family that you can solve in the moment. When I say emergency, I'm talking about like someone passed away, someone is in a difficult situation. It's pretty rare that you're going to be the one that can solve it. Sometimes you are outside of your own direct family. And so something that I've been doing, and this has been hard for me, but I've been doing is that when I'm present with my family, it's not even that the phone goes in the pocket, it's that the phone is in another room. And I have to be okay that I can't solve everyone's problems immediately. I'm not God. I'm just Robert. And I love my wife and I love my kids. And I don't know how much time I'm going to get with them. I don't. So I'm just going to sit with them. And sometimes I'll come back and someone had a very real emergency, but it wasn't something I would have been able to solve anyway. Or it didn't need to be solved in the moment. And that might sound cruel, but it's not, guys. It's not. Someone passes away in your family and you miss the phone call and they're mad at you because they didn't get to tell you quick enough that some drastic thing happened. Well, listen, like, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be supportive, but I have my wife and I have my kids to take care of, and then I'm going to help others. There are clients who panic and are afraid. I don't take every call. And they may hate me for it. They may think I'm neglectful. I work very hard. to show them I'm present and I'm there for them. And by the way, I use these techniques to teach them how to manage their lives and what to do. So, um, an example of that is a client calls and it's not a time for me to answer that call, even if it's a very valid call. So I'll text them. Hey, Tracy, sorry. I'm in the middle of something. You're important to me. I use those words because they are. You're important to me. What's going on? Well, just give me a call when you can. Absolutely. I'll give you a call when I can. But listen, if you want to hear from me sooner, just give me the notes right now and then we can bring them up in the call. Okay, well, it has to do with this. Oh, okay. What does it have to do with that? And next thing you know, I've solved the problem by text while still being able to get done the immediate things I needed to do. But most of us are reactive, right? We take the call. We take the call right away without thinking. And then we wonder where our day went. And we wonder why our blood pressure's so high. We wonder all these things. And we feel powerless and we lose control. Well, that's because you give the control over to everyone else. But I thought you were the business owner. And I thought you were the professional in the relationship with your clients, not them. So shouldn't you know the best time and the best place on average to do things? Should you not be the leader in that? Right? You need to be firm and calm so that your clients can rely on you. And that comes from solving these problems and getting ahead of it. You won't be able to solve all of them, by the way. There will always be things that come up. You're solving the ones that you can solve, right? My kids get sick so much less than most other people's kids. It's not because I'm a better parent. I'm not a better parent. It's just because I just took a little bit extra time and I wanted to solve the problem. And the problem was they needed to be healthier. They needed to have better hygiene. What's even cooler is that first, it was just me teaching them. But then I started to teach them how to do it themselves. And now they are taking control, even at not even 4 years old, 3.5 years old, and 6 years old. They are taking control of how much water they need to drink. They're reminding us when we forget the smoothies, when we have the power gummies. They are getting better at washing their hands more often, not touching their face. I have empowered them. So now it's not just they're less of a distraction to me, it's that my kids are better off. Is that not a win? Can we all agree? That's a win. My kids are better off because I took the time to not be reactive, but proactive in their well being and the work that I need to do in my business to provide for my family. So everything you're doing here impacts your clients, it'll impact your spouse, your kids, your community. These principles that you live on the daily. So don't take it lightly. For some of you, probably sounds like this probably sounded like just a simple call on. It wasn't that big of a deal. It is because most people don't do this stuff. They don't go deep, right? They have surface level solutions. I'll just tell myself to get off Facebook. That doesn't work, guys. Stop pretending it does. It's okay. It's okay that you're not perfect. It's okay that your willpower is here and not here. It's okay. It's okay. Let's just work through the solutions. Anybody else got any last minute questions, comments? Did I bless you today? Was this actually helpful? Genuine question. Is this something you're going to go and put in to your business and start to really fix and solve these distractions? It's okay if you say no. It's not going to hurt my feelings. And I know it works. There's too many top producers that I coach across the nation, actually in other countries now. Sure, Tracy, let me unmute you. Go ahead.
Okay. Um, so you think I'm at a standing desk, and really I'm not. I'm actually at a desk where you sit at. It's just during the Zoom meetings I choose to stand instead
Oh,
of
okay.
sit. So it kind of goes along with your health thing. Instead of sitting all day long, I'm standing, and that also goes along with changing myself. So one thing I've always done is if I can change myself to meet the needs of others and it works, then I do it. So,
I love it. And you know what's really great about this is that the health thing is often something we all neglect, right? Sleep and health. We always think that it's an infinite currency and we can always just sacrifice it. Or we only believe in one solution to our problems. This is a very common thing. We only believe there's one solution. I can't be healthy if I don't have time to go to the gym. That is a very common thing. People live that way. I can't be healthy if um, I don't have time to go to the gym. And so then they miss out on the fact that, sure, maybe they won't be doing powerlifting at home, but they can have a standing desk and they can have a treadmill under that standing desk and they can go step outside for their phone calls versus taking them inside to get some fresh air outside and some sunlight. We miss out by being reactive all the time. But when we write down, we find out there are so many more solutions we never even knew existed. So many more. It's very powerful. Changes your life, right? Alex Ramosi, the $100 million offer, one of the biggest guys in the business world. I actually like his stuff a lot. One of the best things he did in the $100 million offer was people go, well, how do I know what to offer people? What's my offer? He said, go write down every problem that your target audience has, whoever they are. Write down every problem, every single problem, large or small, you could possibly think of. And then under each problem, write every possible solution to fix that problem. And that's your offer. Your offer is the real solutions to their problems, right? That's essentially all I'm telling you to do here. You have all these problems, you have all these distractions, good and bad. You need to solve them. What does that look like? In the granular, not just in a general. Oh, yeah, I'll just eat healthier. No, what does that look like? What day? What time? How? Right? All right, cool, guys. I don't want to talk too much. We're right about that 10 o'clock for me. So if you have more questions or you have more thoughts, I would love to hear how you guys go and actually solve your problems this week and get ahead of your distractions. And for the distractions that come in that were unexpected, the beautiful part is after they came in and are unexpected, write down, let's go through the process with them. Right? Oh, shoot, I had this random last minute thing that happened. Okay, can't help that. But what you can do is, after the fact, run it through the process I showed you today. You'll just get better and you will be so much more productive. It'll blow your mind. You won't even know who you are. You won't. You won't even resemble your old self. It'll be amazing. And people will look at you and just go, how do you do it? How do you do it? And then guess what? You'll have a process. You'll tell them, this is how I do it. All right, guys, have a blessed day. Please share in the Facebook group, or you can respond to the newsletters too of what you're tackling and how it goes for you this week. Okay. I look forward to hearing the updates. I'm excited for you guys. And next week, I believe it's Walter is coming back next week. And then after that, Laura Dahl, I think Misa knows better. Either Walter or Laura are coming back next week, and it's going to be awesome. They're getting into some real practical strategies that you guys are going to love. And have a blessed week. Let's go crush it. Let's go be proactive instead of reactive. See you guys.